There is a love that exists beyond transaction, beyond statistics, beyond championships, beyond the fickle memory of fans and franchises. It is a quiet, stubborn love, weathered by time and tinged with the sweet ache of nostalgia. It is the love of a man for a place that once called him its own, long after that place has turned its gaze elsewhere. This is not a story of curses or of speeches that shook the nation. This is a quieter story, a story whispered in the attic of baseball history. It is the story of a man named Harry Hooper and the sacred relic he guarded for a lifetime, a relic that would become the silent, spiritual bridge between two worlds, the Boston that was and the Boston that waited desperately to be again. To understand the weight of Harry Hooper's love, you must first understand the magnitude of his abandonment. The year is 1918. The Boston Red Sox are not a cursed franchise. They are the undisputed emperors of baseball, clutching their 5th World Series championship. The world is at war, but at Fenway, a dynasty reigns. And in right field, a man of impeccable grace and formidable skill patrols the grass, Harry Hooper. He is not just a player, he is the captain, the leader, a future Hall of Famer in his prime, playing alongside another young phenomenon named Babe Ruth. Hooper is Boston, through and through, the steady, brilliant heartbeat of a champion. Then the earth cracks beneath him. The year is 1919. Owner Harry Frazee, desperate for cash to fund his Broadway ventures, commits the original sin. He sells Babe Ruth to New York. The betrayal is seismic, but for Hooper, the true soul-crushing blow is yet to come. In 1920, Frazee, still bleeding money, looks at his roster not with sentiment, but with a banker's cold eye. He sees his captain, his star, his leader, and he sees a price tag. With a stroke of a pen, Harry Hooper is sold to the Chicago White Sox. He is not traded for players, he is cashed out. The message is not subtle. No one is sacred, not even the heart of the team. The dynasty is not just ended, it is dismantled, its parts sold for scrap. And Hooper, a man who embodied the very soul of the Boston Red Sox, is forced to wear another uniform. He goes on to a brilliant career. He secures his place in Cooperstown, but a part of him is forever fossilized in that 1918 moment, forever a Red Sox in exile. He watches from afar, year after year, decade after decade, as the franchise he loved descended into a well of despair. He witnesses the near misses of 46, 67, 75. He hears the anguished cries of 86. The curse of the Bambino becomes the defining narrative, but for Hooper, the curse felt personal. It began not just with the loss of Ruth, but with the loss of everything Ruth represented, the loss of a family, a home. He had been part of that home, and he was cast out. And as Boston's suffering deepened, a quiet, profound irony took root. The last living cornerstone of the last championship team was watching his old home burn, holding the only key to what it once was.
That key was not metaphorical. It was physical. It was made of coarse red wool, stitched with faded thread. It was the home uniform Harry Hooper wore on the field during the 1918 World Series. While the world moved on, while the Red Sox became synonymous with heartbreaking failure, Hooper preserved this artifact. He did not store it away with bitterness as a trophy of his own stolen glory. He guarded it with the reverence of a priest safeguarding a holy text. For over half a century, through wars and cultural shifts, through the rise and fall of heroes he never played with, Hooper kept that jersey. It was a tangible piece of Boston's last happy ending. And as he aged into a gray-haired gentleman, a thought must have crystallized within him. This relic did not belong to him alone. It belonged to the soil from which it came. It belonged to the fans whose fathers and grandfathers had cheered for him. It belonged to the very franchise that had forgotten him. And so, in a gesture of almost unimaginable grace, Harry Hooper made a decision. He would not sell the jersey to a private collector for a fortune. He would not let it molder in an attic, a secret to be lost to time. In the 1970s, as the Red Sox continued their tragic opera, Hooper reached out. He donated his 1918 World Series jersey, the last remaining intact jersey from that team, from that final title, to the Boston Red Sox. Think of the emotional magnitude of this act. It is the ultimate forgiveness. It is a love letter written not with words, but with wool and memory. It is saying, you discarded me, but I never discarded you. You forgot what winning felt like, so here, let me remind you. I give you back your own history. The jersey went on display, a lonely, beautiful monument to a past so distant it seemed like a myth.
Now, fast forward to the autumn of 2004. The Boston Red Sox are engaged in their own mythic struggle, fighting the Yankees, fighting history, fighting the ghost that Harry Hooper had known in the flesh. In the hallowed halls of Fenway Park, players walked past exhibits of the team's history. And there, behind glass, was that faded red jersey from 1918. It was no longer just a museum piece. It was a beacon, a whisper from the other side of the void. For players like Johnny Damon, for leaders like David Ortiz, that jersey was a physical proof. It was proof that it had happened before, that this franchise, their franchise, was not born of loss, but was built on a foundation of victory. It was a thread connecting them to a lineage of champions they had never known. When the final out was recorded in St. Louis, when the 86-year drought ended in a cascade of champagne and cathartic tears, the circle was closed. The ghost was not just Babe Ruth's, it was the ghost of everything that had been lost since 1918. And in that moment of triumph, the silent, steadfast faith of Harry Hooper was vindicated. He had kept the flame alive. He had returned the treasure map to the treasure hunters. His jersey, the relic he lovingly shepherded through time, had become a totem of hope, a tangible strand in the rope that finally pulled Boston out of the abyss.
This is the legacy of Harry Hooper, a legacy not of loud glory, but of quiet fidelity. It reminds us that history is not just made by the stars who shine the brightest, but by the guardians who tend the embers long after the fire seems dead. His story is a profound lesson in what it means to love something unconditionally, to love it not for what it gives you, but for what it is, in its very essence. The Boston Red Sox of the 21st century, the dynasty of 2004, 2007, 2013, they stand on the shoulders of giants they never knew. And one of those giants, forgotten by many, never forgot them. He waited, he preserved, he gifted. And in doing so, he wove his own unwavering heart into the very fabric of the redemption he never lived to see. His love became a silent, enduring stitch in the banner that finally flew over a healed city.